Good afternoon, everybody. Here we go again, Friday, and middle of April. Goodness me, doesn't time fly when you're having fun? So, what we're doing today then? Okay, grey tile. Not used a grey tile for a little while, so it'll be interesting just to see how this works out with it. I'm looking forward to this one. Now, let's have a look. Tile 130. My goodness me, can you remember? I was only going to do 12. And here we are, tile 130. Goodness me. So, okay, what I wanted to do today is, those of you out there that really love to do grids, I thought we'll have a go at a little bit of a grid. And of course, there's elements within here that once we've done the main sort of shape, if you want to go ahead and create something a little bit more organic inside it, then that's absolutely fine. So we'll see how we go, shall we? So what have I got then? Okay, got my pen, pencil, tortillon, and I've got a white gel pen and a white chalky pencil. Use your pastels, it's absolutely fine. But you'll see how we get on. Even if you've got a cream coloured tile, maybe the white's going to help. And I say something else that's going to benefit today is if you have a slightly sort of thicker nib, because we're going to do a little bit of heavy colouring. So there's my regular 01 or 02 is fine, but I'm going to bring in, there we go, 05 as well. If you've got an 8, that'd be even better, but that's the biggest I've got. So already then, I'm going to sort of start with the pen straight in, and do it on that one, shall I? Instead of actually drawing my dots today and creating a border freehand, I'm going to just use a tile here and I'm going to create a straighter edge, purely because if we're going to do a grid, it really does benefit if if you're wanting sort of a more straight edge when you're doing some sort of a grid shape. So here we go. Now if they don't sort of match, don't worry about it. It's just that we've got something to start with. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to switch to pencil just for a little while because I want to put a grid in here. Now, usually, I'll go a little bit larger so you can see. There you go. I would sort of start in the middle, but I'm not going to do that today. So we've got to focus a little bit on this, and I'm going to split it, into thirds. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then I'm going to split this section again into thirds, and this one, and this one. So I should have 9 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, of course, when you're doing this, you don't need to go as heavy as I do. I'm just doing this so you can see where my grid lines are going to be. Because the idea is, if we do them lightly, then when you actually tangle within them, you're not going to see them anymore. Okay, so you can see there that I've actually created my 9 across there as well. Oh, hi everybody. I know I'm getting cracking on with it today. Things to do. But yeah, I'm going to, just use the straight edge. And you see I've lined it up with my tile there and with the line that I've done there. So I'm getting a sort of straighter edge. There we go. Sort of more parallel. Now, those of you that like your straight edges, you're going to love this one. But, there's quite a lot of scope for it as well. But for those of us that like the more organic. Okay, so I've got my grid going that way. I'm going to turn it this way now. Do the same again. So remember, I'm just lining the edge of that tile with this one and then lining it here. So I'm getting a sort of straight edge. Oh, Richard, I only got part of that. It says we've got 2. And then that's it. It says see more, and I can't see more because I'm drawing my tile. Oh, but that's okay. Don't worry. You can catch up later. There's lots going on, so yeah. And I suppose this is going to be how things are, because as life starts to open up a bit more, you going to be off doing your other things, so there we go. Okay, so it's quite a heavy sort of grid there. I've got nine squares going this way and sort of 9 squares going this way. So, okay, let's do a little bit of focusing now. Deep breath. And I'm going to go a bit larger. Okay. All right, you can see my grid pretty good there. So I'm going to start in this sort of top left-hand side here. And I'm going to use the grid as a little bit of obviously as a bit of a hand. So I'm going to miss this first one and come into this one here. Okay. So I'm just going to move and put that little angle, little corner in there. Okay. And then I'm going to miss one and I'm going to do the same this side, look. So I've got 2 curves. Okay. And then one in here and one in here. Okay, so you see that I've got a square in the middle and I've got these 4 there. Okay, so I'm going to turn to the next corner. Now this is the top right corner and I'm going to do that same thing. One there and there and there and there. Okay, so there we go. So I've got the first 2. So I'm going to now turn my tile. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so you can see where I am. Okay. And then again, I'm going to add a curve, a curve, a curve, and a curve. And then same here, curve, curve. Now if you feel that you want to do this in pencil to start with, that's something that you can do there. So, okay, there's your first sort of little bits. So, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus on this shape here, and I'm going to create another curve just from slightly inside there. There we go. And I'm going to curve it from there to there. Okay. Same again here. Down to here. Notice I'm turning it as I'm going and I'm only focusing on this particular section. And again, I'm turning it round. Hi Barbara. There we are. Okay, so I've got this sort of little shape going on here. Alright, so if I come to this next one, let's do the same again. This one. And then this one. Okay, along here and then into this one. Okay, so let's just have a look at that. There we go. All right, so I'm going to work same on these. You see they're slightly different, but that really doesn't matter. You're not really going to see all of it. Hi Mom, when it's all done, so let's not worry about that. You see they're slightly overhanging, and again that's something that we want. We can address that a little bit later, but we sort of need that little overhang. So I'm not going from end to end. I'm just working slightly in and bringing the curves. Oh Shirley, try it, start with thirds. So you get 3 and then split each one into 3. That's right, you know, take your time with it. I mean, it works in other forms as well, but I quite like the 9 by 9 and it's just a nice size. Okay, so we want to sort of create another one here if we can. So let's just find sort of the centre square, which is here, would you say? So let's just check that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in, and it'd be the same that way, look, the same that way. So this is my centre square. I'm just going to put a little cross in that, just so we know where we're at. If you're not sure, then do a sort of an imaginary diagonal across, and then we know where that's coming from, because that again, now I'm going to create another one of those shapes. So a curve, a curve, a curve, and a curve. And you see it's smack bang in the middle. Oh, Claire. And into this one and this one. So, oh, look out there. So I'm just creating that same shape again. Let's see. And then there. Okay. Oh, deep breath. My goodness me. Okay, so those of you that are with me, are you with me? And if not, don't worry, you can always go back and watch it later. It's just about getting sets of threes in there, because we're working in a sort of a square set of three. See, I've got a set of three here, look now, and a set of three here. It's all how it works, okay? Oh, I know about the schedules on Create and Craft, honestly, don't worry. I've just had a message about moving my show from 3, because it's the funeral tomorrow, to 4:30, so that suits me just fine. I'll message them in a little bit and say, yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, so let's have a look now where we're at. I've got these little gaps here, okay? So I'm just going to come on in and I'm going to create a line from there to there. Now if I make that a little bit larger, you see where it's actually now, these little overhangs, I've got a little gap there, I'm just going to fill in. Okay, and then the same here, look, this way though, and I'm just going to fill in those little gaps there. All right, so into this one, and along there, and there. So what I will do, Jackie, once we've finished this, I will, once we've done this, I've got to get off, but when I get there later, I'll make sure that I post the times on my page, so you know what times I'm on. Oh, Chris, you won't see nothing yet. This is just the beginning. There we are. Okay. And I think this is quite nice, because once you've got the grid pattern, there's, a lot of things you can do with it. There we are. So I'm just gonna, see, I'm just filling those little gaps as I go. All right, so let's have a look at this. Yeah, me too, Ree. Okay, so you see we've got these extra sort of bits. I'm going to come in now and I'm just going to imagine that that's going on in there. And it's sort of going off the tile. And the same here, so it's going sort of up here. And then let's just fill that bit in. Okay, and then of course, let's do this one here while we've sort of got it at this angle. There we are. And same here. There's one there and one there. Filling that little gap in. Okay. So if I turn it now this way, again, I'm going to work from here to here. So everywhere we've got these sort of, oh, I've got one there, look. Little sort of overlaps, we're going to fill them in. And one here, look. There we go. Just so it's sort of creating a new design now, isn't it? A new shape. So let's put that one in there. Okay. And then here, see, I've got this one coming off. So again, let's do this one, this one. Oh, I've got one there, see? There we go. And then this one. And then we'll have a look, just make sure I've not missed any. Okay. Oh, there we go. So that's the hardest bit, honestly. It is the hardest bit. And now we've got that, or sort of got that, we can we can move on. Okay, so yes, Ree, that's what that's just the text message that's just come through. So I'll definitely agree that when we come off this video. So okay, so you see I put a cross in there. I'm just going to put a little cross in here just so I know where my centre is. And if you're not quite sure, you could always do a bit of a diagonal. You see, so we know where the middle bit is, because that's where we're going to work towards now. So sticking with my pen. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I missed one. Look, there we go. All right. Too carried away for the next bit. Okay. So I'm working in the top middle now. This sort of wider sort of space, and I've found the centre bit. Okay. Come on, Shirley girl, you can do it. So I'm going to go from that corner point there to the middle with a bit of a curve. And then from that corner point to the middle with a curve. And then same this way, so here, you see? And now I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to do the same again, look, curve in to the middle, into the middle. Okay? All right. There we go. So you can see where we've got those sort of shapes. This is when I'm going to sort of come in now with my thicker pen. And you see I've got this curve here. I'm going to create some stripes. 1, 2, 3. I'll get 4 in. 4. And the same this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can't get 4 in, it really doesn't matter. It's all about, you know, what your tile's like and how you've done. So here, look, I'm going to get 3 in. But that's okay. There we are. Okay. So this is why I brought in a thicker pen, because what I'm going to do now is fill in those little gaps. Create a bit of a stripy effect. All right, there we go. And it's just a little bit quicker, and it doesn't tend to give your nib too much trouble if we go in and use a thicker pen. If you've got a brush, you can use a brush pen too, or you can do this in a different colour. Entirely up to you. But that's kind of nice. I like doing the stripes. There we go. Okay. So just working my way around. And in we go. There we go. Just filling in. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so we can see there we've got this kind of nice sort of little design going on there. All right, so I'm going to repeat that again. If you need to sort of put your mark in the middle, and then curves in towards the centre. See, so from that point into the centre. I'm going to turn my tile. Now here I haven't really got an end, so I'm just going to, let's put this one in, and we can sort of then gauge where that one's headed. Because it's almost going slightly off the page, isn't it? So we need to just imagine that that's got a little bit of guide there. There we go. Let's see, I've got a few more in that way. There we go. So I might kind of actually have got less there, and I might do it this way this time. So I'll get 3 that way. Now, if yours are all even, that's fine. It's just how mine's sort of working out, but it really doesn't matter. It's just that you want stripes working your way down each of those little segments that we've created there. Okay, same with this one. So again, using that thicker pen and just filling in as I go. There we are, just working my way around. And same with this one. I must say for tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow, I have some fantastic samples. My little creative team have been working like little troopers just to get some of these fairies sort of done. But they're fantastic. If you don't think you can draw and you've never thought of drawing something like this before, oh, you're in for a treat. There we go. Right, so I'm going to move along to this one. And again, there's my sort of centre. And curve in and curve in. And this way. So I'll fill that bit in there I've missed. There we go. And into this one. Kind of like this because it's creating a little bit of an optical illusion, and it's not gonna. You're still gonna sort of see a grid, but you're not gonna sort of see the grid you started with, if that makes sense. It's sort of throwing your eye off and doing something completely different. So it's quite a nice one. But again, you know, if you don't want to, you know, do stripes and patterns, you can change this out and do lots of other tangles in its place. And it'll, once you've got that main grid shape, then you can fill it with whatever you like, really. But, like today I'm getting stripes. And of course we're using the grey tile, you know, wouldn't you? You put that white on it, it's going to look fab. Okay. Just filling in. See, the nice thing as well by, you know, adding stripes is if your curves aren't quite where you want them, you could go in and change it a little, because you're just filling it in, so it really doesn't matter. There we go. Suppose they look like little toadstools, don't they? Little single toadstool. Yeah, I've got that on my mind at the minute, obviously. Okay, so there's a couple of them. So again, I've got another one here. So coming back in with my fine pen, there's my centre bit. Let's have a look. All right, so we're getting curves. There's one. See this one, I've not quite got the end bit. Turning it round. And that way. And that way. Okay. And back in with that lovely thick pen. Oh, Nadia. Let's have a look. Just watch through, just chill out with it, and you'll catch up again later. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and a little one. So again, just fill. When I've done this one, I'll zoom out again so you can see the whole thing. So at the moment, I mean, we're only focusing on one particular shape, and we've not done anything else yet. We're just repeating that shape in terms of what we've been doing. So we're just doing those little sort of pointy, curvy triangle shapes and then filling them in, making stripes. There we go. Just sort of enjoying the fact that we're using black to colour in. I think it's quite dramatic. It's quite an interesting one, this. There we go. Now I did try it last night with varying amounts of squares on my grid, just to sort of see what it was like. And of course, doing them larger and smaller, that can create a completely different viewpoint as well. So it's quite a good one to sort of have a go and get your head round. Here we go. Let's have a look at where we are then. Okay. So at the moment, I've actually created the stripes within each one of those. We've not touched this shape yet, or this shape. So still a few bits and pieces to do there. So I'm going to put my thicker pen away for a while, and I'm going to come back in now with my thin one. And I'm going to stick with this shape here. So I've got some little triangles in between. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start in the centre, and I'm going to come and create a loop. Okay. Surely. And then another loop. That's fine. If you've got a different pattern, that's fine. Okay. And again, let's just come on in and fill in those gaps. There we are. Just as we go. There we are. And I'm going to do the same here. So loop in the middle, and then one either side in that space. And then again, just going to come on in and fill in the gaps. There we go. See, it's looking a bit different now. Oh, darling. I'm at home. Well, I say at home. I'm at the office in the classroom at the minute. And I've been here all morning, so I've just been... Although I didn't bring my laptop, so I have packed some orders for Hermes. John has been making more rulers, and tangle boards. So if you've ordered a ruler, then they're on my desk ready. It's just that I won't get to post them till Monday. And straight after this, I'm getting into the car and I'm heading up to Create and Craft, because I have to be there 2 hours before the show, and it takes me about 2 hours to get there. So I'm then staying overnight, and then at least I don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get there for the 7:30 show in the morning, which I assume it's 7:30 in the morning. I've not looked at the schedule. So that's the plan. And then I'm there all day tomorrow. So whilst I am there, I'll be working on, during the middle of shows, I'll either be adding to demonstrations if I need to, or I'm working on the next thing. Woo! Okay. So you see, I'm doing exactly the same thing, into there and into there. And of course, I'll be back. So I finish at 9 tomorrow there, and it's packing up, so I could be out by 9:15, home for 11:30. And then Sunday is probably going to be, it depends on whether we go to extended stock. If we do, then I'll be in the office again, packing, or printing and making packages. And then Monday, we're on to packing, as Leslie will be back then. Okay, so yeah, busy, but do you know what? I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. Absolutely not. And of course, on Monday afternoon, we've got the tile swap number 4. So I'll be doing the video for that. So if you want to have a go when you're around, or you just want to watch what we do, I'll go through a specific tangle that I want you to use on your tile. And then it's up to you to create. Even if you think you've never done it before, or you're not quite sure what you're doing, watch the video and have a go. It's just good fun. Okay, so there we go. Same again, like looping in the middle, then one either side, and then just filling in there. There we go. Okay. Just adding that little bit of black. It's quite a graphic one. It's quite a nice one to do. And sometimes we don't do so much black, and you know, we add colour instead. But this is something a little bit different. Okay, so you see the difference now, look, adding those extras in, whereas here we haven't. Okay, so into this next one, and then to this one. All right, so just filling in those sections. There we go. Turning it round. I know, Chris, it's great, isn't it? Oh, we'll sort it though, because it's obviously got to have a bit of shading going in yet. Okay, let's fill that bit in while I'm at it. There we go. So you can see with these little sections, you can go ahead and put in any tangle you like, really, and you're going to get a completely different version of this particular tile. So, and of course, if you want to do a different shape, maybe you want to do 2 half tiles together, that would look pretty good. So, okay, let's work on these sections now. So I'm going to stick with this fine nibbed pen. I'm just going to come from corner to corner, you see, create a bit of a curve there. And then again, I'm just going to aura the same line. quite narrow, quite close together. And then if I turn it round, I'm going to do the same here. There to there. It doesn't matter which corner you choose. It's just that that one feels more comfortable for me. Turning it round again. This time, let's have a look. I'm going to go from here to here. So it's a little bit like a tangle we know pretty well, but I'm just using certain corners. And you notice that my curves, oh, that one's slightly gone astray. There we go. But that's okay, as long as you've got each corner is covered, basically, with a little bit of a pattern. That's all good. So let's fill this one. Again, I'm going to come corner to corner and then aura. And then I'm going to do another one here. I'm just turning it around a little bit. Just makes it a little bit more interesting if you don't sort of do first and the next one. See, I might just turn it this way this time. They're going to overlap and underlap in different places. As long as they're sort of headed in the same direction. Let's see, and then one here. There we go. Okay. And then, let's have a look. Let's do the centre one. You see, mine are all sort of going this kind of way. That's absolutely fine. If you want to do it differently, it really doesn't matter. It's just a little bit of a different sort of perspective on it, really. There we are. And they all crisscross at different points. See there, I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to do this one. Just keeping it in with the same, the curves going the same way on mine, so I'm going to keep them going that way. All right, to this one. So I'm just going to turn it and then do that one because I say it's underlapping in different places, so it's just creating a little bit of a difference. There we go, underneath each one. Okay. Oh, Chris, yeah, on pick of the day, the price won't go down. I don't think it'll go down till tomorrow, I think. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I just turn up and craft. Oh, dear me. There we are. So another one there. Okay, so as long as I've got one of these lovely little curved lines going from corner to corner, you see they're going underneath each time. That's fine. I mean, I could keep going, but because this one's really, really busy, I wanted to keep this one slightly sort of different. Okay, let's have a look then. Okay, so we've got these shapes. So I'm going to start with an aura, one here and one here. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a border there. So because we've been using lines, I thought it'd be a nice opportunity now to come on in and create some bubbles. And I see they're all different sizes. Don't sort of think you've got to create a pattern, just fill in the spaces. And when you've got space that you can't get any more bubbles in, then go ahead and just fill in the gaps with that black pen. So again, we're getting that black in there. It's quite graphic, but you can control this. If you've got lots of bubbles and very, very little gap, then you're not going to have as much black. But if you're leaving lots of gaps, then it's going to be quite quite heavy. So it's whatever you want to do, okay? So let's go to the next. You see, I'm going to put that line in again. One there and one there. And then I'm going to fill with bubbles. There we go. Just different sizes, just fill in that shape in. And again, if you wanted to, you could have put another grid in and maybe done the pattern from Tile Swap 2. You know, the ones that look like a Victorian floor, that'd be quite nice. But whatever you want to do in it, if you wanted to just do stripes or just leave it plain and colour it, it's lots of options for this one. There we go. See, we could have even coloured the centre in and used it as a gem if we wanted. Okay, let's do this one. You see now it's going against the grain of that original grid that we had in there. Colin, no, there's there's an airfield across the road to the units where we're at. It's only a little aircrafts. But, yeah, depends on the weather. It gets quite busy. So. But we're not going to be here forever. We're going to be elsewhere, so we won't hear them forever. All right, let's just enjoy filling these little gaps in. See, it's getting it's quite dramatic, isn't it, when you put the black in, because you start to see the little bubbles coming closer and more forward. There we are. Okay. And again, just creating these lovely little bubbles. There we go. Now at this point, you know, we've done quite a lot of drawing today, so you might want to just sort of ease off your pen a little bit. You know, sometimes you can hold it and you start to get cramp in your fingers. Just sort of let go of it and relax. Just don't hold it so tight. You can sort of get into that mode, and because you're so focused on what's going on and you don't realise. So, you know, just ease off a little bit, and just let it do its own thing. No need to press on. No need to rush. I know this one's probably something that you might have to sort of re-watch and check again here, especially if you couldn't count 9 at the beginning. Here we go. Okay, following this one. Of course, if anybody's watching from the US on this video, I will be doing a US live later, or I think I am. Now please don't ask me what time. You'll have to have a look on your schedule, because I don't know. Oh, do you know? I know which one's the first one, and as long as I get there for them, that's fine. Once I'm there, it's all good. It's fine. Don't need to worry. Okay, here we go with this one. So I'm just going to get a little bit of one in here. There we are. Just filling it with bubbles, just like all the others. And then, of course, any of the gaps. Just going to go and fill them in. There we go. All right. Okay, moving to the next. And again, bubbles. So that you might decide that you want to do it in a different colour, or you might want to try a different tangle. Well, I do like my bubbles, so got to get them in somewhere. Gosh. Can't believe it's tile 130. We've done really well, haven't we? I know there's quite a few of you have you know, followed along religiously, and you've got all these in lots, well, maybe at least 2 or 3 journals by now. And Glenys, it's about 1 hour 50, 2 hours, depending on the traffic. So certainly now traffic's getting busier. So. And of course then you've got the A1 to contend with, because you never know what's going to happen on the A1. Oh, Jackie, do you know what the best way to do this? And you think, oh, I like symmetry, it's got to be right. Is cover the rest of the tile up and just focus on the single section you're working on. And then you can't see the rest of it. And then it's purely down to whatever you draw at the time. You just focus on that bit. There we are. So I'm just now following it round. That's okay. Just to fill in each of these little spaces. Very repetitive, this one, so it's one that you can really sort of get your teeth into and really sort of chill out with it. Tangles themselves aren't particularly tricky, of course, and once you've got the grid created, then you're good to go, and it's just a case of filling it in however you want to do it. There we go. Make a nice frame, wouldn't it? So if you'd missed the one in the middle and just did around the outer edges. Okay, let's do this one. So again, don't forget that extra little line that we do before we go ahead and add in these bubbles. So just giving it a little bit of space away from the first tangle, just giving it a little bit of an edge, so we can sort of see the, you know, where one ends and one begins. It's quite nice. Oh, the pink part of the A1. What does that mean? I actually travelled from the M18 all the way up to, is it the A47 or something like that? So it's notoriously, yes. I mean, that was a while back. I actually was doing a tile one day after driving, and I couldn't do it that day because I got stuck on the A1. I think it was about 4 hours. Yes, sadly. But you know, the fact that I got to where I was going, it was, I'd obviously had a better day than somebody that day, so never mind. Just go with what it is, which is probably why they like you there early, so at least they know they've got you. Oh yes, Ali. As you know what, as well, when you get to, I was finding, you know, with the bad weather, Oakham and that kind of way is where you get more snow. Yes. And then do you know there's a space there, where's that, near Retford Way, where it goes down to 50 miles an hour. So I'm doing 50 miles an hour and it seems like the whole world's going faster than I am and they're passing me. Mental. All right, let's have a look at that. Wow. Look at that. Now, all those different patterns. Remember that square grid? Where is it? It's nowhere to be seen. So, okay, let's have a look then. Pencil. I'm going to, again, enlarge it. Go. And I'm going to start with adding some pencil. I'm not going to ignore the patterns here for now. I'm just going to add some here. And here, remember when we put those original curves? And here. And this one here. Yeah. The same with these. So I'm not being shy with this. So coming on in and adding it, see, on all those 4 edges. And then into this one. And this one. See, put plenty on, it's fine. You want a bit of strength on the pencil today because we've got quite a lot of black on this tile. Okay, same with this one. All right. Next one here and then here. Okay. And then where we've got the bubbles, I'm going to put some on the edge there. So either side of the bubbles there and there. Okay. I'm going all the way across. Again, I'm completely ignoring that particular pattern of design. I'm just focusing on the bigger shapes. And just, there we go. Adding some pencil to the edges, each side. If I can, see, I can't see a side there, I might just add a little bit of those bubbles. There and there, you see? Okay, this one, and this one, add a bit there. Okay, so that's sort of the rough bits sorted. I want to now focus on these ones. I'm going to go a little bit larger. So I'm going to add pencil to either side of my stripes. Okay, same here and here. Okay, and then I'm going to add pencil in those sections and a little bit across the tops. So again, don't worry about being neat, just get some pencil in there. Try and leave the gap in the middle if you can. So let's do the same here. This section, either side. Okay. Working my way around. Oh, sorry, I wandered off there. There we are. And again, around. Those little bits, and then let's just add some across the top there. There we go. Okay. And there we go. This one. And working my way around onto those. So I'm not being really neat, I'm just avoiding the middles. Because obviously the tortillon's going to do all the work, hopefully. So we don't have to worry about that. I think I've got one more. So it's looking a bit sort of pencil heavy at the minute, but you know, a little bit of work and we'll get that sorted. And then we just, it's a little bit of a transformation, and then of course we're going to come in and add a little bit of white as well. There we go, just across those tops there. Okay, let's have a look at where we're at then. Okay, so that's all my pencil in. So I'm going to come in now with my tortillon. Here we go. And first thing, I'm going to work systematically, I think. I'm going to create a little bit of a shadow along these there. So I'm just softening the edges, not bringing it into the centre, just sort of easing it off a little. And of course, if you're using a white or cream tile, you're going to notice this a lot more for now. And do the same with those shapes. If I do the same first, and then we know where we're going with it. There we go. And here. Okay. And across to this one. And here. So definitely avoiding going in the middle. So of course, if you find that your pencil's a little bit heavy and it's not blending as well as you'd like, just ease off on the tortillon, just soften it as you're going along. The more pressure, the more you'll sort of push the pencil around. And sometimes you don't want it completely up covering a piece, you just want it around the edges. So just ease off and just work on the edge, you know, the edge of the pencil, just to sort of soften it off a bit. Okay, so let's do these ones again. I'm just going to sort of work them in from the edge in towards the centre, but not going to the centre, you see, just around the edge, and I'm leaving that sort of little highlight there. Same again. Alright, so there's not much work you need to do with them, it's just about softening it off really, and it's going to do all the work for you. You've done all the work, you've done the drawing. Okay, let's get this one done. And, oh, sorry, to this one. There we go. Okay, just softening them off. See, not much to do there, just leaving that little bit of a highlight in. So now it comes to these sections here. I'm going to go a little bit larger. Okay, so just going to very gently soften the edges along those shapes. And you see I've just done edge and edge. I've left the middle completely free. The same here. Soften the top and the bottom. Leave a bit of a gap in the middle there. So I'm just going to, see I've even gone over the black. Well, that's fine. Some you might see it. I mean, you might get a little hint of that silvery graphite colour, but that's okay. Don't think you've got to leave them and try and colour around them, because it doesn't always work that way. Okay, so just adding a touch there. So same with these ones. And again, just trying to keep it out of the middle if you can. There we go. And working in those sections there. Okay, you see now where I was quite scruffy with that pencil? I mean, it really doesn't matter, because the tortillon, see, is just taking those edges away. And I know I've not worked on a grey tile for a while, but really like it, really like the contrast, and although it's quite subtle, isn't it? It's grey on grey, it's still giving you that definition that we're after. And of course a couple more steps after this, but it's certainly well on its way. Does it? Do you know, Ali? Yeah, the greys, they're just so subtle. I mean, I'm using the darker grey, so you know, the fact that you can use black and white on one tile I like. I mean, I like my black tiles, you do. You know I like my black tiles, but the grey are really chic. There we go. Of course, you can put them on any colour sort of journal page after as well. I think it looks brilliant with the tangerine from the Brights journal. Absolutely love it. There we go. Okay, so that's our shading in that sense done. So I'll just come in now with my black pen, but I'm going to use my thicker black pen, my 05. And what I'm going to do is, you can see where I've got these shapes and they go what appears to be underneath these ones. I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to add a line across, and a line across. You see the difference now with that, it's sort of giving it a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to do the same here. So where any of those shapes meets another, I'm going to just thicken that line. If you haven't got a thicker pen, it's fine, just sort of use your thinner one and go over the lines just a couple of times, and it'll just give it a little bit more definition. That's what we're after. See? Okay, let's go around. Of course, because it's got that graphite on now, this is just going to reinforce those particular lines that we want to stand out. Now, of course, if I decided I was going to use this and thicken up one of the other lines, then you'd get a different shading effect, wouldn't you? Okay, so I've not worried about these sections, I've just done these. If I do these as well, it can start to look a bit too much, and that's not what we want. So okay, I'm going to come in now with my pastel-y white chalk pencil, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a stripe down each of those stripy little shapes we did earlier, you see? Now I'm not going to blend them out or shade them in any way, so I'm just going straight down the first time with a single line. Now if you've not got a chalky pastel white, that's fine, you can use a white gel pen. It's up to you, whatever you want to do there. Just sort of keep it as a single line. Okay, and you see the difference it's starting to make now, just that little bit of white coming on in. There we go. Okay, and then across here where we got the highlight, I'm just going to come on in a very, very short zigzag. See? Just really short zigzags. You notice I'm only going across the bubbles. I'm not sort of working on that line at the minute. I'm just doing the bubbles. There we go. Okay. Just doing the the bubbles. Okay. You see the difference it makes just adding that colour there. Of course you don't have to use white, you could use a different colour. Okay. And again, just going to add a little bit in those centres, you know, where we left that little bit of a gap. And again, I'm not going to blend this, I'm just adding a couple of little lines. I'm not putting as much pressure on, I'm just being quite gentle really. And just sort of adding a couple of little highlights in there. There we go. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. You will get that sort of silhouette because we're putting it over the top of the black. It looks good. See, just that little highlight, nothing major. I've not got as much pressure on as I had with that first line I drew. Okay, and just working my way around. Okay, there we go. So let's just sort of have a look at this line now. The lines either side the bubbles. And I'm just going to add a little bit across the tops there. You see, just sort of working in with the line. So rather than do like the zigzaggy bit, it's almost like it's just hitting. I'm going to turn it round. So there we go again, just a little bit, see, just touching where that sort of looks like it's lifting off the page now, doesn't it? There we go. All right, one more thing. So looking back at these lines, I'm just gonna, in the center, I'm just gonna add a little bit of white, just sort of across the edges. Let's go a little bit larger, just so you can see that. Let's do another. So I'm just choosing a side, and I'm just adding a little bit of a highlight. You see, just around a section of it, I'm just sort of focusing where I left the middle quite without any graphite, just to give it a little bit of highlight. Yes, I would do that line in white. Even if you're on a white tile, I would still go ahead and do it. Certainly on the stripes, it's most important on the stripes. But yeah, because certainly here, if you're using a white tile and you've used graphite, you've got a line here, still going in with this white would be completely, it just make it look completely different. It just gives it that little bit of a highlight that it needs. So I would honestly, yeah, still go in with the white pencil. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, just to sort of finalise, I'm just going to add a touch of white, very lightly, just around a couple of sides. So you see, I've not put much pressure on there at all. And then the other two, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to add a little bit of pencil. Okay. Same on this one. Now, if we think back to when we did that grid, where we'd got 9 squares by 9 squares, where are the 9 squares? That's completely different, something that we've not done in a while. And of course we can keep going on in. So here, look, we might want to sort of come in and add a little bit more. See, I can start to faff now, and it's all about how much time you've got to actually sit and, you know, completely work with this. But when we're working within our hours, it's a bit tricky to get all the detail in. So I'm just sort of going back over, you see, just with my pencil and just giving that a little bit more of a redefine. Other than that, I think we're about done. So there we go. Oh, I like it that way. It looks good, doesn't it? So, okay, completely different. It's really nice to do something like that, I think. And we do a lot of organic ones, I know that, but I do try now and again to get one of these in so you can have a play with a grid. So there we go. So all yours, whatever colour tile you want to work on, whatever colours you want to work within, entirely up to you. And there we go, tile number 130. So have fun with it. Keep letting me know how you're getting on. Post some pictures. Whew. And yeah, I will see you all later on Create and Craft if you're there. So if not, that's not a problem. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you back here on Monday at 2 o'clock, all ready and waiting for our tile swap number 4. All right, I'll see you soon, guys. Have fun. Bye.